not going to be with us today, so she had an office situation come up, so she's got to hold down the fort over there. But I had just two things. One, Sue and I have been working on a few things, Steve, for your agenda item on the returning the funding to the property owner. So we'll have that on the agenda. We're just kind of ironing out account and working with legal on just what those pieces will be, but it'll be in the packets for Monday.
If I may, if we're going to talk about that, you say it will be in the packet, so I'm looking at the packet.
Yeah, I don't.
Could I clarify something? A request?
Yes.
One of the things that I would like to know in your packet, which I love, by the way, I may disagree with a couple sentences, but I do love it. In your memo, and I'm just going to throw this out, and maybe you could gather up that information for the council, or maybe the council doesn't care, but I care. You show a total purchase price of $148,500. Was that that's what the high bid was at that auction? Is that correct?
Yes, at the auction.
Okay. And then it says total due to Keenan Auction Company, $10,918. That would be their fee for conducting the sale. Fair?
Yes, it was their fees, the advertising that they put out,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Could and hopefully the council's interested, I would like a copy of that Keenan bill. Maybe it's just withheld from the proceeds, so there's no real bill. Maybe it's just a proceeds sale receipt, so that it itemizes that, because the percentages don't come out to the normal amount. And I just wanted to see,
Yeah, I can get that for you.
yeah, no, it may never have been a bill. It may have been a net sale from the auction.
Yeah, I have an invoice.
Well,
I'm
whatever.
sure,
It-
yeah.
And the next step of that is the total that was due the city was, you've got a total of $19,024.01. Could we get an itemization of what it started at, and then the fees and the assessments and the costs and so on, so I could, I and hopefully everyone else is interested in seeing.
Yeah, I had that in the council meeting, the other council meeting packet, but I
Other?
can pull that and put it in here. Yeah, I had a breakdown of the fee that the city was charging.
In the prior month's meeting.
Right.
So we'll get that for you.
Yeah, but it didn't, what I'm asking for is, what was the taxes? What was the assessment? What is the city's cost? How did you
Come up with that figure.
compilate that number? $19,000, give me the backup for that number, or give the entire council. You want a pen? Those are my two requests about that subject.
Great.
Is just those two things, a little bit of data.
Okay.
And thank you.
No worries. Glad to talk about it, Steve, and I'll have to think about that more often too, using these finance before Monday. If there's any, especially little items that relative to finance, maybe getting a few more information. And I did want to talk about that with the workshop on August 4th coming up. I know one of the reasons that kind of kick-started this whole piece was a conversation from you, Nate, on just dialing back the finance committee meetings or thinking about a different structure. And as we're adding this, do we make finance part of that August 4th meeting? Do we just have like one additional finance meeting a month? Is it a kind of ad hoc committee? So just wanted to put that out there to you all on how we would move forward on that. There's also the piece on the 4-day municipal work week, which we're going to talk about in more detail on Monday night. But if we did go to that Monday through Thursday schedule, obviously the opening up the building for Friday for this meeting also would. So there might be some synergies here to maybe just keep finance as part of this standing workshop piece, but at the same time, there could be a lot of policy, that type of thing. Maybe we just have a once a month finance as a separate Monday or a separate Thursday in the morning. I do like these morning meetings. I feel like it adds a different vibe. So my recommendation would be that we do one finance committee meeting a month with ability to have ad hoc committees, of course, but do like a Thursday morning or something like that, but open to ideas.
Yeah, I think at least one, and we can always see how it goes, but I like I guess it won't be Big Finance Friday, it'll have to be Thorough Accounting Thursday or something.
Thorough
A new pithy name for once a month,
Yeah.
how do things stand?
But I
yeah.
think that's really important, and
Thorough Thursday.
Thorough Thursday, at least once, but yeah, I think, at least once, and then maybe twice.
Maybe
We'll
twice.
see. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it is, obviously, it's the finances of the city, it's obviously very important, and so it's great to interact with the finance department here as well, so that's my 2 cents.
My view is, let's not take a whole bunch of stuff and put into these workshops and cloud the spirit of the workshop. I think we need a finance meeting every week. You choose when you have it, how you do it, what have you. There's a lot of good information that's here. It's available to anybody that wants to come. And I think anything short of a one-week meeting would be not doing our job. And I don't care when you do it, whatever night you want to do it, whatever morning you want to do it, I could care less, but I think it needs to be a regular meeting. The Monday through Thursday thing, whatever you guys decide, I don't care. But I think it needs to be one time per week. We've just got the finances so that they're a lot more transparent in the last year and a half than they ever have been before. The last thing I want to do is step off that cliff and go backwards. I would ask that we keep once a week finance meetings. And I would ask that they be the same day and the same time each week. And let's not shove the finance function into a workshop that we could be doing other things. And that's just my view.
So I'm definitely hearing here kind of unanimity on not folding into the workshop piece. It's going to be adding too much to that side of things.
Yeah, and I think, but at the same time, regardless of how many finance meetings we have a month, or if it's still weekly, keeping finance meetings just about finance.
Yep.
And, because it's become this, the whole reason we're having the workshops is,
Yeah, it's become a workshop.
it's become a workshop, so
Yeah.
I think just whatever it is that we need, because workshops, you can have the whole council, and rather than running things here that aren't related to, like, I know you can say everything is finance related, right, but I think having it be a very specific function to just the finances of the city, and then if something comes up regarding, anything else, keeping them separate, I think will be important for the continuity with the council.
Okay. All right, we'll revisit. Maybe we can talk about that when there's Tammy here as well. Nancy, I don't know if your thoughts on.
I don't have a firm sense of it at this point.
Yeah, I think once we get the workshops going and get a
Yeah,
feel for how
it's
they're
true, it'll be
functioning,
clearer.
we'll have another data point to.
And we've discussed, if they are focused on finance, we've discussed, is there the virtual option? So I think we're still playing with it.
Yeah, I could
and
see
watch it evolve.
every other week, but also just giving us the time to be a little more intent on the agendas and making them pretty robust.
Yeah.
And really, getting us to dial in. I do get concerned about we're adding meetings, this and that. We're like, there's at some point I have to try to figure out how we can have time to prepare for all these things, so that we're coming a little more prepared at the table. So okay. And then lastly, on that note on preparing and budgeting, we've got a meeting on my schedule for next week. Thanks to Sarah and the finance team to kind of do a budget recap and what worked well, what didn't, what do we want to start thinking about. I know we're only just in the new fiscal year, but we really want to start really planning for next year, right away. We'll be doing some strategic planning, kind of looking at other things, potentially putting, kind of a matrix together for prioritization of larger strategic priorities, and then being very well prepared for not starting in early January this year to prep for the FY27 budget, but probably in like October, November, really moving that forward. But we talked as a council a bit about that too, on things we liked, things we didn't. We had some interesting ideas on if you can stay at a kind of CPI inflation in your department, and you don't have any huge requests, of course it'll be available, your submission will be in the docket, but we don't have to, spend a ton of time. I like that idea. I think Steve liked that idea. I don't mean to parrot your words, but Nancy, you had, I think for new counselors, they wouldn't get in the weeds on each department's line items. There could be some, but there's a whole bunch of range of things that we thought we could,
Right.
maybe like a planning session with the council before we go into that, and like, that's a little more in-depth as opposed to just, here's the timeline of meetings, like, here's what we want to accomplish.
And I think that the key too, that we had talked about earlier, is when there are, in and amongst all of the things that are the budget, when there are things that you specifically need the council to pay attention to, those should go top of the agenda first thing in the evening when we are,
Yeah.
can I say, at our most curious, so that we are spending that energy in a way that's helpful. But still, I go back, a basic understanding of the budget is important because that's our job, accountability to people. So, but I think, again, it's how it's presented, and if it's it's never been prioritized, like, here's the whole thing. So a prioritization on that, but open to other issues that we might want more information on.
Yeah.
But I'm all for fewer meetings to get the budget through if we can do it with that, the level of accountability that we need.
Perhaps a hybrid to that thought might be to group 2 or 3 departments that have held their budget within the CPI increase in one evening.
Just kind of,
That would get Nancy what she's talking about, so every counselor could see.
Hey, Michelle.
Every counselor could see that process of that department, but we maybe would have less management time for the ones that are within that realm, and more time on the ones that are trying to break outside of that realm.
Right.
I'm asking, I'm not suggesting.
absolutely. And I should note, we're going to meet as a staff internally next week, but then come back to the council with, like, we're talking to Michelle about the budget process and starting to think towards the next one, what went well from the last one, what didn't, how we'd like to kind of streamline operations. I feel like this year we cut in half the amount of budget meetings. Next year, can we cut in half again? But at the same time, to our previous points, like, this is a big important part too. We don't want to, it's a key function of the council and the staff and the city. So streamlining the operation, but it seemed like Nancy is, much of the vibe that I'm getting is being able to put more energy into like the key decisions and not have those come at like hour 2.5 when
Right.
it's full. So how do we get that out of, like, what's the salt bid from this year and what was it 3 years ago? And like, well, but we're adding this new personnel person. We're adding this new ordinance review or
Right.
something like that, and being able to really dig in deep on the new or the bigger changes. Solid waste, I think, is another one for next year that we're going to have to be digging into a lot more. There's some key policy areas with big budget constraints and that,
And I guess my point is there are 2 purposes for it. One is we need to pass a sound budget, and the other is we need to understand the budget. And they're different, almost different approaches. If it was just we need to pass the budget, that would be one path, but we also need to understand the pieces of it. So I think the prioritization, whether it's on where the changes, where the significant differences, but I think lead with those pieces that are change.
Yep.
So
Great. And that's pretty much it for me.
Great, thanks, Charlie.
Yeah.
All right, really quick, audit update, just so everyone's aware, yesterday I received an email from RHR. They had everything they needed, and we would see a copy of the audit here very soon. I don't know if that's today, I don't know if it's early next week, but we should see that here very soon. And obviously, we'll share that with everybody once we get those, a copy of that. Also wanted to mention the DWSRF, which was brought up last week. I know that was a hot topic last week. Wanted to let you know, with the help of Sarah, Ashley, myself, we got the capacity review submitted and the DWSRF application to Maine Municipal Bond Bank. They have everything they need. We are going to get the loan. We were hoping to get it in July. It looks like it's going to be set for August, the August meeting that they have. I reached out to a few local banks for a ban to help with the payments in the meantime. So that'll be presented on Monday night, just to help us, like I said, get that little gap between now and when the DWSRF actually finalizes. But everything's, like I said, they have everything they need. Everything looks good. We just gotta wait until that gets approved at August meeting. So everything's good there. Is there a question?
I have two questions, Nate. One on the audit and one on the loan.
Yeah.
For the audit, when we receive the audit from them, is that like the final that's stamped, or is there any, like, does the city kind of have a review of it and talk to them before it's finalized?
So this will be the one that we review, kind of make sure everything's good. So yeah, that's not gonna be the final one that we get.
Okay, yeah,
from them.
that's wanted to clarify.
It'll be stamped draft, am I correct?
Stamp draft, yeah. I think that's,
Yeah, it's like-
That's the
it's like
process
draft
from
on,
years
yeah.
before, yeah. Okay, that's just, I just wanted to clarify.
Do we think, I know Steve, I think, could we bring in Ron for maybe a draft discussion with the council? I know we talked about that previously, about having the auditor come in so we can talk about it and quiz
Yeah.
questions.
And I had already mentioned it to them, just so you're aware. I already said that would probably be ideal for one of them to come in, whether it's in person or via Teams, like myself, just to discuss, where we're at and to review the audit. So that's something that they're aware of that we would like to have happen.
Maybe a finance committee meeting focused on that, and we just make sure the whole council's aware
Yep,
that that's the topic.
I like that idea.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Nate. And then on the Surrey Road project funding update,
Yeah.
for the ban, is the ban just to kind of enough to pay for, we're not banning the
Yeah.
whole thing and then paying it back, we're just enough to kind of pay what we owe until,
Pay what we owe until that application, like I said, once that loan goes through, then we can pay that band back. So,
so it won't be the full X amount of
No.
dollars, yeah, okay.
yeah, so obviously you'll see, on the RFPs, you'll see, 111,000 for the whole year. Well, our goal is to only have it for, 2 months max probably, so,
Okay. All right, that's helpful, thank you.
yeah. And I also wanted to let you guys know that as of yesterday, late afternoon, all 4 major accounts are fully reconciled. All the bank accounts have been reconciled through the month of June. So now it's just every month, the process continues.
That's fantastic.
Awesome, great work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work, but got it done. Thank you, Ashley, and the finance team, for real.
I'd like to, I'm sure we're gonna learn this Monday night, and I haven't read through the packet, but when you reached out to the bank, did you reach out to the bank? What was the amount you reached out for? Because am I right in thinking this operates like a credit line and you draw down as needed? So when
Yeah.
you do a lending of this type, I would assume it would be healthy to have an amount far in excess of what we need and draw down what we need, even if it's a little extra money in the loan. Let's not go through this monthly until,
Well, I went very high. I did a $2 million ban. We don't need 2 million. We don't probably need half of that. But I just wanted to make sure that we were good. So,
Great.
thank you.
Great.
I think that's important, to go through the process once and deal with it.
yeah. No, I don't want to have that same issue, so I just went 2 million, so.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Sarah? Sue?
Michelle?
We'll s-
Well,
She just
Sorry,
wanted to
I
hang
was
out. Vastly late.
We'll see you all Monday night. It's been a triple in a week.
Yeah.
true.